What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Khamzat Chimaev fires back at Sean Strickland. Khamzat Chimaev has been campaigning for a crack at the winner of the upcoming title fight between Dricus du Plessis and Israel Adesanya, and in doing so, has found himself at odds with Sean Strickland, who believes he should be next in line for a crack at the belt. In addition to calling for his own title fight, Chimaev has also taken aim at Sean Strickland, firing back at the former champ while saying that he and Strickland have some unfinished business. He spoke during a Russian-speaking interview with Red Corner MMA. He said he beat me in sparring, but there were a lot of guys around who saw me choking him and beating him up, so we also have some unfinished business. Sean Strickland, of course, has made it clear that he won't be accepting a fight unless it's for the middleweight title, putting the UFC in an interesting predicament when it comes to the #1 contender at 185. While the middleweight title will be up for grabs at UFC 305, none of the aforementioned fighters are set to be the backup fighter in Perth, with both Strickland and Whitaker turning down the opportunity. With Chimaev likely unable to make the trip down under to weigh in as the backup, the UFC could look to rebook the Whitaker-Chimaev fight later this year, given that Strickland seems unwilling to take a #1 contender fight. Next up, let's take a look at Conor McGregor reveals UFC return date. Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler's long-awaited fight suffered a major setback last month when the former champ sustained a broken pinky toe that forced him out of their scheduled UFC 303 clash. Since then, Dana White has remained non-committal about when the fight could take place, shooting down August, September, and October when discussing a potential timeline for McGregor's return. This week, Sun Sports' Chisanga Malata caught up with McGregor and asked him about a date for the Michael Chandler fight.
Last one for me, December 14th, is that going to be the new date?
That sounds good to me.
All right.
On Thursday, Dana White also spoke about the fight while speaking with Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal on the Big Podcast, where he gave the four-time NBA champ his take on McGregor's future, after being asked whether fans would ever see McGregor versus Holloway 2.
If Conor McGregor fights again, it's obviously a great fight. It's a great fight. Him and Chandler is a great fight too. Conor and Chandler's a great fight. There's a lot of fights out there for Conor.
White went on to explain, much like he has in the past, that McGregor has reached a level of wealth and fame that makes it hard to want to train for a fight. For his part, McGregor also spoke about his future this week during a BKFC press conference, stating that after completing the 2 fights on his UFC contract, he intends to make the jump to BKFC, where he has an ownership stake.
It's money in the bank. So, you know, for me, I have a bit of business left with the Ultimate Fighting Championship, 2 fights left on my contract. But for sure, we've got 3 lightweights up here on the dais. And, you know, I have my eye on all of this. You know, I'm not up here just as an owner. You know, player manager. I'll try it on myself on this one, yeah.
Given that McGregor seemingly wants to part ways with the UFC, it'll be interesting to see how things play out between he and the promotion going forward, given that the UFC likely wants their biggest star under contract during negotiations for their next broadcasting deal. Next up, let's take a look at Kamaru Usman reveals what's next. After suffering back-to-back losses to Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman made the move up to middleweight for a short-notice bout against Khamzat Chimaev last year. While he looked good in a fight and narrowly lost the decision, the former champion has his sights set on moving back down to welterweight. During a recent episode of he and Henry Cejudo's Pound for Pound podcast, Usman dropped a big update regarding his return, revealing the names of several different potential opponents.
There's a huge chance that it comes down to one of these guys, because these are the streaky guys. These are the hot guys right now. As I like to think of it, these are the new hot chicks in the division right now. And of course, you know, we love hot chicks, Henry. We love hot chicks. So,
like that, you talking chicks.
But these are the hot prospects right now in the division. And of course, you know, staying at welterweight, I would have to choose out of one of these guys. And you know, it is what it is. I have no problem with either one.
The most intriguing name on the list, of course, seems to be Shavkat Rakhmonov, who many believe already has a case for a crack at the title once Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad compete in Manchester. Another name that stands out from the list is Jack Della Maddalena, who had called out Shavkat Rakhmonov before winding up with an infection stemming from post-fight surgery to repair a broken arm following his UFC 299 win over Gilbert Burns. With Usman looking to make the move back down in weight, it seems as though there are plenty of exciting options for him whenever he's ready to return to action. Next, let's take a look at Leon Edwards teases moving up to middleweight. While his focus is entirely on Belal Muhammad, leading up to their highly anticipated rematch at UFC 304, Leon Edwards has continued to tease a potential move up to middleweight in the future. While there's been plenty of talk of Islam Makhachev moving up to challenge Edwards for the welterweight title, the champion has his sights set on moving up himself. During a recent interview with Kevin Iola, Edwards spoke about his desire to become a two-division champ.
I feel like it's just as good as the opponent you beat, you know, so I feel like going out there, knocking out the pound for pound #1, Kamaru, Usman, and the Colbys and people like that, I feel like all this just adds to your resume, right? Or adds to your legacy. And so yeah, that's my main aim, you know, want to beat all these guys and hopefully I get to move up one day and try and challenge for that middleweight strap, you know. I feel like I'm quite a tall welterweight anyway. I walk around quite high as well, so yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility, and obviously got to do it correctly, but that's definitely a possibility for sure.
As Edwards revealed last month, however, while he would welcome a clash of champions with Islam Makhachev, he believes that both of them have work to do in their own divisions first. With contenders like Shavkat Rakhmonov and Jack Della Maddalena both climbing up the rankings at welterweight, and fighters like Arman Tsarukyan looking to get a crack at the lightweight belt, a fight between Edwards and Makhachev, or Edwards and the middleweight champion, are likely still a ways off. Next, let's take a look at UFC Fight Updates. With the UFC Fight Night Lemos vs. Jandiroba card rapidly approaching on Saturday, and the UFC 304 pay-per-view in Manchester the following week, let's take a look at today's UFC Fight Updates, starting with a featherweight bout between Gabriel Santos and Yiza, scheduled for UFC Vegas 97 on September 7th. The bout will see Santos look to snap a two-fight skid that has seen him sidelined since his loss to David Onama last June. While on the flip side, Yiza will be looking to make a successful return to the UFC after winning 3 straight fights on road to the UFC last year. 2 new fights have also reportedly been added to a UFC event expected to take place at the Apex on October 12th, with Nico Price and Themba Gorimbo set to compete in a welterweight bout, and Cody Garbrandt set to compete against Miles Johns. In the case of the Price-Gorimbo bout, Nico Price will be looking to build momentum on a win over Alex Morono at UFC 302 that snapped a 2-fight skid. On the flip side, Gorimbo will be looking to build on a 3-fight winning streak that most recently saw him pick up a decision win in May. Last but not least, in the case of the Garbrandt-Johns fight, the former bantamweight champion will be looking to bounce back after a loss to Davison Figueiredo at UFC 300. While on the flip side, Johns looks to extend the 3-fight win streak that most recently saw him defeat Douglas Silva de Andrade in June. Next, let's take a look at Magomed Ankalaev talks about sparring Francis Ngannou. While waiting for his crack at the light heavyweight title, Magomed Ankalaev has been making the rounds and keeping his name in headlines. This week, during an appearance on Azambek Badaev's YouTube channel, Ankalaev opened up on an incident he had while sparring Francis Ngannou some time ago. As he explained, a sparring session between the two became heated, with Ankalaev sensing that the Predator was trying to put his lights out. In response, he decided to use his grappling to hold Ngannou down. It wasn't until after the sparring session that Ankalaev realized why Ngannou was going so hard on him. Initially, we stood up. I saw that Ngannou wanted to drop me. He was generally aggressive. I quickly went to his feet, put him down, and held him. I was waiting for the time to run out so I could say, "Don't come near me again." Then we found out the reason. It turns out he is a friend of Dalcha Lunjambula, whom I had knocked out before. And then we talked to him. One might say we became friends. While nothing has been made official yet, the expectation is that Ankalaev and Pereira will both be back in action before the end of the year, with the pair finally having a chance to share the octagon. Now let's shift gears and take a look at Jake Paul goes off on fake Mike Perry. Leading up to their highly anticipated boxing match this weekend, Jake Paul and Mike Perry have continued to trade verbal blows. During the Fight Week press conference on Thursday, the pair appeared on stage in Tampa, Florida, where they fielded questions from fans and media members. At one point, Perry revealed that the pendant and chain combo he was wearing were worth about $40,000. However, Jake Paul wasn't convinced. The YouTuber turned boxer took aim at Perry, calling him fake.
How much does it go for?
Well, with the chain and the pendant, it should be about 40,000.
Wow. And you can only wear that this weekend.
It should be about, these are CZ diamonds and that shit fake.
I think not. Don't play my guys.
Didn't pay for that
New York City got the best jewelry out there. My boy Rocco right there with track.
Hey, that shit looks green from over here, bro. Come on. Your neck turning green, bro. You know, right, that's fake, right?
If you could just say
yeah. You can't even deny it. You had the fake Travis Scott's on too. Everything about you's fake. Fake fighter too. You suck at fighting. You suck at dressing. You got a fake chain. You got fake shoes.
Perry didn't miss a beat, firing back and accusing Paul of having a fake career in boxing, given the opponents he's fought in the past. With tension between the two at an all-time high, the fight community is eager to see how things play out on Saturday night. Watch Jake Paul against Mike Perry this Saturday, July 20th, live only on DAZN. Buy the pay-per-view now using the link in the description. Sign up to a 12-month DAZN plan and get $10 off your pay-per-view and the first month free. Khamzat Chimaev breaks silence on his withdrawal from the fight scheduled against Robert Whittaker. Khamzat claimed that his immunity had dropped and he couldn't get rid of headaches. He said, "My immunity had dropped very much and we wanted to rest a little bit. For a week, I rested and I did not come to my senses. I ended up in the hospital and, to be honest, had severe headaches." Here's what the MMA community had to say. Does this guy have sickle cell or something? Why is his immunity system so weak? Bro had headaches, so he decided to scam his fans for $1 million. He withdrew because of headaches and stress. His star has fallen hard, but the amazing thing about sports, winning changes everything, but you can't win from the sidelines. Kinda strange he got into the hospital with a few headaches before the fight. There's no way he's getting a title shot or a main event for a while after he's pulled out of 5 mains out of 5 already. I like Khamzat and I want to see him be a champ, but he's not reliable whatsoever. And add the whole not being able to fight in the USA thing too. Put this guy at 205 and these problems will stop. He can't make weight, bad discipline, and he's always getting sick. Likely because he weighs too much and puts his body through too much stress in a short amount of time trying to cut. Alex Pereira breaks down in tears over a fan after Alex shaved the fan's hair due to cancer. Here's the clip.
I do Muay Thai and have been for a while, so it was a bit unfortunate to get a cancer diagnosis because you know, I love training. Yeah. And this is just crazy that I have one of my idols shaving my head. Thank you so much. It's an honor. I appreciate that.
Desejando força para ele. Desejando força para ele. É um momento muito difícil, né? Pô, não tem nem o que falar. Sem palavras. Eu tenho meus 2 filhos, né? Pô, agradeço a Deus, né? É difícil.
You know, he has his 2 boys as well, and you know, being in this situation, it's very difficult. It's good for you.
I know that I'll be able to get through it because he got through it.
Ele falou que ele sabe que ele vai conseguir sair na frente porque você saiu na frente.
É difícil, né?
Can I give you a hug? Thank you so much. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you everybody.
Top comments. Pereira not fighting for a long time in his eyes is 5 months or less, lol, man is a savage. Ankalaev sounds like every other fighter until they get into the octagon with Pereira. I'm seriously confused. Who the F still wants to see a Diaz McGregor Tony Ferguson at this point? These guys have been performing like trash and they're not entertaining. Let it go. The Bilal physique change is fishy because it suddenly happened in his early 30s. Leon has always been in shape and gradually got bigger as you'd expect from a natural lifter. Can't stand how the Russians basically get home field advantage when they make a champ fight in UAE or Saudi. They did that ish to Charles Oliveira. Islam got home field advantage for no reason. Now they want to force Alex to fight over there against a dude who hasn't fought for a while. Let them fight in Vegas or Brazil where Alex is used to fighting. Give the champ a little edge, not the challenger.